finally finished installed the vinyl plank in our bedroom.
Do you like it?
I love it.
Are you happy?
I'm very happy. It's so beautiful.
Happy wife, happy life? Hi, I'm Mark Blanchard from Vie Flottante. Today, we're going to change out the flooring in our bedroom. And now we've got vinyl planking. We've never done this before, and everyone tells us it's easy to do.
When we are doing it, we encounter some tricky parts.
Yeah.
And we also made some mistakes. We are going to show you how to install vinyl planks step by step and the mistakes we made so you can avoid it. Let's see what we upgraded in our last video. So our local refrigerator is just dead.
Got a
Not
leak in the
working.
system. It's done.
So we finally made the trip up here to replace the refrigerator. We have MSRV solution in Golden, Mississippi, near Red Bay, Alabama, to replace the local refrigerator to a residential fridge in our motor coach. If you are thinking of replacing the fridge yourself and wonder how did the professionals do it, this is the video that shows you how to do it exactly. You can find the link in the end of this video or in the comment below.
Alright, so let's get started. We've never done planking before, but we hear it's very easy to do. The idea is that the boards interlock right here. As you can see, there's a kind of a tongue and groove on both directions, and you can hammer those down and snap them into place. Now, tools that you're going to need: a good industrial strength pencil or marker. You want a tape measure to make your measurements, flashlight because you can't see where you're going, razor blade set for flooring. You're going to need one angle iron. It's an adjustable one. I'm also going to use this. It's going to make it a lot easier for you to know what angle you need to be at.
We have all the tools that you need to complete this task on our website. You can go to lavieflottante.com. We also put the link in the comment below.
Okay, let's get busy on it. We already had the carpet taken out and subfloor has been laid down. And there's two ways. Number one, you can take the bed out. Taking everything out, there's about 20 screws you got to take out, pull everything out of this room. Then you can lay the entire floor, which is going to be really easy to do. It's just a lot more prep work. It'd probably take 5 boxes.
80 square feet of vinyl plank. So we choose to only do the floor, not underneath the bed.
The bed. We end up using about 3 boxes. And we use 2 transition boards.
Yeah,
and a couple of finish nails. That's basically it. So one thing that's really tough to do on any floor is making sure it's square. If things aren't square, you can start off at one place and you have a wall that maybe is not quite square. And as you come across the other wall, your lines end up coming together like this because they're not square, they're not parallel. So that's a big problem. This is a small space, so it's probably not a real big deal, but one thing you can do, if you happen to have a big T-square, you can line up and see if you have any reference points. Like in this case, I can see that the slide appears to be pretty square with a box, bed frame box, as you sight down it. So that's a good sign. As you can see, again, you've got a square point here. You're referencing off a carpet, which is a little bit of a problem, but you can see that, I've got some pretty good square lines here. I notice when I get to the cabinet, it's not necessarily so square. You can see in the corner here that this board is actually not, it's actually curved in a little bit. So it's either warped or I'm not sure why. So that's not a good reference point to come off of for being square. You definitely want to plan out how you're going to lay the wood down, because where the joints are, how they lock, and when you think about the slides and the movement across them, you want to make sure those are the strongest boards. And so we're trying to figure out the orientation of the locks as we go through the angles on these segments of the boards. So the first thing we're looking at is trying to understand how to make it so that it's consistent and strong. You have 2 options. You can come all the way to this far wall and cut around to that profile, or you can bring a full board to here. We've decided, since this is a main travel area, we're going to bring it all the way to this edge here. So that's why the boards are right now laying out the way they are. And now it's the hard part, trying to figure out where square is and how you're going to start your set. I've decided that this is a square point by perpendicular angles from the bed here to here, and then these are also parallel to the slide. So I'm using this to define the stack up of all the boards. The reason that's important is I want certain boards in certain areas so that the entire board is on that support area. If a board's too small and the subfloor underneath has got like a crack in it, or you're walking in that area a lot, that little piece may tend to want to come off, and especially in an RV, if you're going down the road and the piece comes off, that's not good. That's what I've determined for the spacing on these boards right here. I've locked these into place and kind of determined also that I want this board here and another board to stagger there, and then I cut another one here in the stagger. So that means that right now this piece of board right here is going to come around to this wall here. And that's the hard thing to determine. And what I've done is I've taken my angle here. It happens to be that this is just a 45. So I happen to have a 45 jig, luckily. So you can see right here that that lays in nicely to that dimension there. So I can now take this geometry and bring it back here, draw the 45-degree angle, and then figure out where the corner here is, bring it down so that I have apex of that angle, which is right down here. That's the tricky part about cutting this. So I've drawn this line and then a square line here, and that will be that jog section of angle. You got to make sure you cut straight lines and make sure all the boards are oriented the right direction for the locks. These boards have double locks. They've got locks on either side and either end. So when you cut a board off to make a seam, you've got to make sure that you have a lock on that seam. I accidentally cut the lock off by cutting the board on the wrong end. Now when I put this down, there's no way to put a lock there. I could do a butt joint, but it wouldn't lock. I'm going to have to go back and cut another board there. Just a reminder to make sure the lock is where you need it to be. So now we're going to make the cut on that. Check to make sure how sharp it is. The sharper your blade is, usually the less problems you'll have with scoring it, cutting it properly. Once you score the surface, if it's a straight cut, it's pretty easy because then all you will do is bend it over and break it. So I've got a Dremel multi-tool here. It oscillates real fast and gives you a nice little cut here in those hard to get places. I've cut all the way through on this side. Now I can just score it like that. There we go. So break it off nice. Much easier way to cut. Thank you to my friend Jason for letting me borrow this. How about that?
Yeah,
oh yeah, that looks
nice.
Good, huh? Now I've got to cut the other end because I'm going to start with seams alternating here. So I need to cut the piece down here. The reason being is I don't want a short piece here. This is a heavily traveled area, and so I'd like to keep a seam out of this area as much as possible.
Make sure you have
lock
at least
here,
that.
lock here, and it only can go one way. So you always have to be conscious of which end of the board you cut, because if you cut the wrong end, you don't have a lock, and it won't look as good. Okay, so I'm going to mark the board. Then I will take a T-square. There we go. Okay, there we go. First piece cut.
Yay! And we are encountered a challenge because we don't have much space in the end. That's a bedroom door over there.
When you have a place like on the wall there that's tight to the carpet and you don't want to show any spacing, you'd like to slide the board in on the floor flush to be tight, which means that you can't lock both corners as easily. So you have to make a decision what you're going to do first. So first we're locking here on this one, locking here as close as we can, and then we're lifting up here.
It needs to be like a 45 degree in order to lock it in. The bedroom all the way. So we have this area finished. So now we are going to work on the smaller area on the side of the bed.
Time to put the last piece on this side. Let's see if it all fits.
Air vent back in.
Looking good.
So now we are going to install the vinyl plank on the slide. But first thing you need to do is to remove all the carpet that you cut off. There's some little carpet hiding underneath the cabinets. So you will need to use this needle nose plier. It's easier to go underneath the cabinet. Get the little carpet out. Okay, that's good. We finished the floor, and now we are going to work on the trim piece on the slide.
So the moral of the story always is you have the wrong parts, right? The screws that they have here, this is not a solid piece behind here. It's aluminum extrusion. So it's really thin wall. It's like 1/8 inch thick. So it's a metal tapped screw instead of a wood screw, which is what everyone designs to. So what I'm going to try and do here, since I can't find the right screws right now, I'm just going to put these inserts in, these grommets in, see if I can get it to tighten off of that. So now I've hammered the grommet down so it's almost flush, and then this screw will grab off of that grommet and should hold it tight. That's the plan. The transition pieces to the other flooring, that is always the hardest thing to get right. We decided to do planking on the slide. It's easier just to do carpet.
Yeah.
We can see now why. We like what we have, but you know, I could see why it took a lot more of a challenge to get it to kind of line up right on that edge on a transition.
And then we are having hard time to find the transition
board. Trying to get just the board itself and the right color
too.
Right.
Yeah. So this is the transition piece we'll put on the slide. This is the hard part, but we get it done. Looking good. So now we are putting the transition piece in between the bedroom and the shower. When you put the vinyl plank down closer to the shower or anywhere else in different area, you need to make sure that you leave some gap in between. Yeah, you cannot put the vinyl plank all the way to the end.
No, right here,
no,
there's
you
no
cannot.
room for this piece.
Yes.
This part is 1/2 inch. We've got right now 7/8 on here, which is, you know, plenty. I mean, this is a 2 inch or 1 3/4 trim. Hey, how's that?
Beautiful.
Huh? Since we have slides on this floor, we've been told also that you want to definitely screw some of the boards down, tack them down. As the rollers come over on the slides across the boards, you don't want the boards, of course, to slide. So that's the issue. Driver?
Driver son. Yeah, no problem. We finally finished installed the vinyl plank in our bedroom, in our Tiffin Phaeton.
Do you like it?
I love it.
Are you happy?
I'm very happy. It's so beautiful.
Happy wife, happy life?
One thing we didn't think about before we chose to install vinyl plank is that it's pretty slippery. If you wear socks and walk on the vinyl plank floor, you have to be careful not to fall. And also we find
our dog is scared to walk on it because he's worried about slipping.
Yeah, he was so scared. He doesn't want to step inside the bedroom at all unless we put the carpet down.
So we decided we're going to put the carpet in and to make it shorter and shorter and shorter until he gets used to it.
Yeah, so that's the thing we never thought of in the beginning because we didn't know that Johnny cannot walk on the vinyl plank flooring.
You got to make sure you cut straight lines and make sure all the boards are oriented the right direction for the locks. I cut off, you know, the wrong lock on a board and had to start over. And little pieces will come off if you hammer on just the lock.
Yeah,
so don't pound too hard.
We kind of wet the whole board. Also, we put all the tools that you will need for completing this job on our website. So you can go to vieflottante.com to find out all the detailed information, and we'll put the link in the comment below. So you can, one click away will take you there.
So we hope that you enjoyed this version. It's educational, understanding how to install vinyl flooring, and give us your comments below and let us know if you're going to do the same thing to your RV. Good luck.
Thanks for watching, and please stay tuned for our next RV upgrade video. Okay, bye! In our next video, we are going to show you how to replace the carpet throughout the motor coach, and why professionals suggest not to change to other type of materials besides carpet on the front slides. Like and subscribe to our channel, and click the bell for getting notification for seeing our next episode. Sign up on our website for getting new articles, and join us on Patreon for updates. See you next time on Vie Flottante.